think of NERI as having three concepts. The first concept is that we are designed for survival. So everything the body does is on purpose. The second concept is there are primary systems of the body. And I'll talk about this later in the next segment. Concept 3 is that NERI changes the way your body receives information. Let's talk about concept number 1. You are designed for survival. Therefore, everything your body does is on purpose. It does nothing at random. NERI maximizes your survival. Concept number 2. There are 3 primary systems. Fight, flight, freeze is the first one. This is your ability to get away from danger. Stand and fight the danger, or freeze in place and become someone else's lunch. The second part is the feeding system. All of your immunity and your nutrition comes from this feeding system. And the third system is your reproduction system, your ability to procreate. All of these systems should work independently of each other. And I want to go into a little bit of a lengthy discussion about this because most people don't understand what happens. And this is the basis of much of the work. Let's pretend that you are 10 years old and you are riding your bicycle and your tire hits a big old rock in the street. Before you slide off your bike and hit the pavement, every cell in your body has flushed with adrenaline. You are armed to save your life. So after that accident, you jump up on your bicycle and you ride for about 2 blocks and you work all that adrenaline out of those cells. That puts you back in neutral because you've used up that adrenaline. But let's say you didn't get up and ride that bike. You had a head injury. Your head hit a rock. Or the bicycle was broken and you couldn't ride the bike. So that adrenaline stays locked in those cells. When this happens, the body continues in that fight or flight system. It stays locked in that to put you in a 911. What's he going to do next? I've got to be ready. And your adrenal glands kind of take over the whole orchestration of what's going to happen in your body and how information is received. This third part is the reproductive system. So hormonally, all of our liver functioning and lots of the digestive is tied in with that. That gets very confused when the adrenal glands are always in charge of everything. And they have to be to save your life, because if we don't save your life, it doesn't matter if you eat or you reproduce. So this fight-flight system can take a very, very first step in being in charge of everything. When that happens, there isn't enough energy for the feeding system or the reproductive system to really work efficiently in your body, and lots of different symptomology starts happening. Many things that happen are that the jaw, the whole neck and jaw lock down. In the children who grind their teeth, or adolescents who have to have their wisdom teeth taken out because the mouth isn't large enough for the wisdom teeth to come in. These are all signs of a person being in fight or flight. The back of the neck, getting lines on the back of the head where the muscles are just holding on so tightly. This is an indication that the fight-flight system is really active in this person. Scoliosis, which is curvature of the spine. Scoliosis looks like the person is in the running gait, and indeed they are. One foot might be in front of the other, where you're actually in a running gait, kind of in a starting block all the time. One shoulder or a shoulder and a hip being higher, or a leg that's always short when you lie down. Other symptoms of being locked in this fight or flight system are a hiatal hernia, where the diaphragm is actually pulled down. The diaphragm is supposed to be popped up like a big circus tent, leaving lots of room underneath the diaphragm for the guts, the stomach and the small and large intestine to work, the kidneys to work. There's supposed to be lots of room down there for digestion to happen. If a person is locked in fight or flight, the diaphragm is pulled down. So as the esophagus comes through this hole, there's always a lot of pressure on it. And eventually the stomach pushes up through there, making what we call hiatal hernia. And there are lots of diseases that have derived from this situation. Some other things that happen, the pelvic dome also works with the diaphragm. So if there's pressure on the bladder, pressure on the uterus and the ovaries, a woman is not going to be able to have a period that's easily taken care of. There's going to be a lot of pain there. Men might have an enlarged prostate. There might be prostate cancer develop. So all of these things are part of this fight or flight system. The lower back being very the lower back being very painful or vulnerable or easily injured is another piece of it. And there are lots more that I'll talk to you about as we go through the process. Concept number 3, I've told you already that NERI addresses how this synchronization works in the system. So concept number 3 changes the way your body receives information. We want the pancreas to receive all the information about food and feeding and your immune system. We want the prostate or the ovaries to interpret any information about the reproduction or the hormonal systems of your body. And we want the adrenal glands to inform us about any danger or fight, flight, freeze that we need to do. So NERI separates these 3 systems, putting them with an equal amount of energy available to them. As this happens, lots of symptomology disappears on its own. And it's wonderful to see people go through this process and their lives start fitting together. I hope this happens for you. It sure did for me. In conclusion, NERI is a 21-step process. Each piece of this process has to lock in before I can continue to the next one. But when we're finished with about 12 hours of work, the process locks in for life. I hope this video has helped you understand and become educated about NERI. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the exam room. Let's get started.